Assalamu alaikum. Today the topic of our discussion is the structure of uveal tract. Let me tell you what is uveal tract. As we have discussed in the previous video that eyeball has three main coats. The outer coat is the fibrous coat, the middle coat is the vascular pigmented coat and the inner coat is the retina. So this is the outer coat. So this layer is the outer coat, which is the tough fibrous coat, and it basically protects the eyeball. Then inner to this coat there is another coat, vascular pigmented coat, this blue one. This blue one is the vascular pigmented coat, and then inner to this vascular pigmented coat another coat is present. This is the sensory portion of the eyeball. This is known as retina. So in between the retina and the fibrous coat, a vascular pigmented coat is present. This vascular pigmented coat is known as uveal tract. So today we are going to discuss about the structure of this uveal tract. So first of all, you should know about the location of the uveal tract. Uveal tract is present between the fibrous coat on the outside and the nervous coat or retina on the inside. This uveal tract has some other names like uvea, uveal layer, or tunica vasculosa and vascular pigmented coat. All these are the names of this uveal tract. This uveal tract consists of three parts. This posterior part from here up to here, this is known as choroid. This posterior part is known as choroid. Then as you move anteriorly, this thickened part is known as ciliary body, and then more anterior you will find a diaphragm with variable aperture. This is known as iris. So iris, ciliary body and choroid, these three comprise of uveal tract. Actually in this video we will discuss about the structure of choroid, and then in the next videos we will discuss about the structure of ciliary body and the iris in detail. So let's start with the structure of choroid. As I have told you that choroid, it forms the posterior part of the uveal tract. So first thing about choroid is that it forms the posterior part of the uveal tract. Second, what is its location? I have told you that this whole uveal tract is present between the outer fibrous coat and the inner nervous coat. Out of this choroid is present between this outer part, this one, this black part. This is sclera and this is retina. So this is this choroid is basically present between the outer sclera and the retina. So it forms the posterior part of the uveal tract, and it is present between the outer sclera and the inner retina. It is separated from the sclera. This is our choroid and this is sclera. It is separated from the sclera by a potential space. It is known as perichoroidal space. When we say it is a potential space, what does this mean? It means it is not a true space, but due to some pathology or due to some other causes, the space can be created between choroid and the sclera. So that is why it is a potential space. Choroid is separated from sclera by a potential space known as perichoroidal space. Under light microscope, choroid is seen to consist on three layers. Now we will discuss about the structure of these layers in detail. Let me suppose this is our choroid. I have taken this piece of choroid and I will draw it here. So due to lack of space, I have to remove this. So outside the sclera, what is present? Outside the choroid, what is present? Sclera. So this is the sclera. So this is sclera. and inner to the sclera what is present? Choroid. So here will be our choroid, and inner to the choroid what is present? Retina. So here will be our retina. So as you can see, choroid is present between the sclera on the outer side and the retina on the inner side. Now this choroid is seen to compose on 3 layers under light microscope. Now we will discuss each and every layer in detail. The outermost layer was, this is the outermost layer. This is the outermost layer. This outermost layer has a loose meshwork of collagen and elastic fibers. Suppose these are collagen fibers. And then there are elastic fibers as well. So in this layer there is a loose meshwork of collagen and elastic fibers, and in the interstices of this meshwork there are present few fibroblasts. So few fibroblasts are present here. Then some other cells are present like macrophages, and numerous melanocytes are present. Then in this layer the choroidal arteries and the veins are also present. So these are choroidal arteries. These are choroidal arteries. These are choroidal arteries. Then choroidal veins are also present in this layer. These are choroidal veins. What is this layer called? This layer is called choroidal stroma. Choroid stroma. Since stroma is basically a connective tissue, so choroid stroma will have all those components of the connective tissue which are present in other connective tissue. For example, collagen fibers. These collagen fibers are the part of the connective tissue, and since stroma is also a connective tissue, so collagen fibers will be present in the choroid stroma. Elastic fibers are the part of the connective tissue, and since stroma is also a connective tissue, so elastic fibers will also be present in choroid stroma. And fibroblasts and macrophages and melanocytes, these are also the part of the connective tissue. And since stroma is a connective tissue, so all these cells will also be present in this layer. And as you already know that blood vessels are also present in the connective tissue, and since choroid stroma is also a connective tissue, so blood vessels will also be present in this layer. So this outermost layer, which is towards the sclera, this is known as choroid stroma, and it consists of a loose meshwork of collagen and elastic fibers along with fibroblasts, macrophages, melanocytes and choroidal arteries and veins. Then we move to the next layer. This layer. As these choroidal arteries approach this layer, they give rise to capillaries of unusually large size. Suppose here. As these choroidal arteries approach this layer, they give rise to capillaries of unusually large size, sinusoids, and these sinusoids are fenestrated. What does it mean? That these capillaries have small pores in their membrane. have small pores in their membrane. So these are basically fenestrated capillaries of unusually large size. These are from where these capillaries arise, the choroidal arteries, when they approach this layer, they give rise to these fenestrated capillaries. What does this layer called? Let me tell you another thing first. This is one capillary and this is another capillary. In between the two capillaries, in this space, fibroblasts are present. Then melanocytes are present. Then collagen fibers are also present. And then elastic fibers are also present. The same composition which was here, it is also present here. Here fibroblasts were present, here fibroblasts are also present. Here melanocytes were present, here melanocytes are also present. Here choroidal arteries and veins were present, but here choroidal veins and arteries are replaced by a network of fenestrated capillaries which are of unusually large size. What is the importance of these fenestrated capillaries? Actually, retina has 10 layers on histological section. Out of these 10 layers, the outer 5 layers are called as outer retina and the inner 5 layers we call them inner retina. Out of those 10 layers, the outer 5 layers are supplied by these fenestrated capillaries. They get nutrition from these fenestrated capillaries. And the inner 5 layers of the retina, they are supplied by the branches of central retinal artery. So let me tell you that here is our eyeball. This is cornea. This is choroid. This is iris. Here is our lens. And here is our cornea. Oh, sorry, retina. This retina has 10 layers on histological section. We will discuss those layers in detail in the lecture on retina. Right now, just believe that retina has 10 layers on histological section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of these 10 layers, the outer 5 layers, they get nutrition from these fenestrated capillaries. Since, let me tell you, this is our retina. We divide it into two parts. The inner 5 layers, since this is toward the inner side and this is towards the outer side. Towards the sclera it is outer side and towards the vitreous body here, this is the inner side. Here are 5 layers of retina which are on the inner side and here are 5 outer layers. Actually, these 5 outer layers of the retina, they get nutrition from these fenestrated capillaries. So this is the second layer of the choroid. What does this layer call? This layer, since this layer contains capillaries. What are these capillaries? Choriocapillaries. Since these capillaries arise from the choroidal artery, so these capillaries are called as choriocapillaries. And since this is the layer of choriocapillaries, so we call it choriocapillary layer. Choriocapillary layer. Choriocapillary layer. And then there is the last layer of the choroid, which exactly borders at the retinal pigmented epithelium. Let me tell you first. Retina has two basic parts. Suppose here. This is retina. Retina has two parts, two layers. retina has two layers. This outer green one is the retinal pigmented epithelium, and this inner red one is the nervous layer. So it has basically two layers, nervous layer which is present on the inner side, and the retinal pigmented epithelium which is present on the outer side. And choroid, and this is the choroid, it is present just below the retinal pigmented epithelium. So what happens, let's suppose here is the choroid stroma and here is the choriocapillary layer. Then above this layer another layer is present, which exactly borders at the retinal pigmented epithelium. What does this mean? That just above this layer retinal pigmented epithelium is present. Retinal pigmented epithelium is present, and above there is the nervous layer of the retina. So here is the sclera. Towards the sclera choroid stroma is present, then more inner choriocapillary layer is present, then more inner another layer is present which exactly borders at the retinal pigmented epithelium. This is the retinal pigmented epithelium, and this is that layer which exactly borders at this epithelium. What does this layer called? This layer is known as Bruch's membrane. The other name, lamina vitrea. Since this lamina is towards the vitreous side, suppose here is our lens, and behind the lens and in front of the retina here a fluid is present, viscous gel-like material is present. This is known as vitreous body. Since this layer of choroid is towards the vitreous body, so this is known as lamina vitrea or Bruch's membrane, and it exactly borders at the retinal pigmented epithelium.